What's up? What's up? Welcome to Creative Abnormality, and I am Adriana. And I don't know about you guys, and I want to get right into this because I have been almost obsessively following the case of Shanquella, the girl who went from America, North Carolina, over to Cabo and basically went with her so-called friends and was murdered by her friends. And it's been a mystery. It's been in the eyes and the attention of the world. Kyrie Irving even donated around $65,000 to the GoFundMe to help the parents with any funds for attorney fees or whatever it is that they need. It has broken America's heart because the video was just so disturbing to see and know that these people that she trusted, and on top of that, allegedly, she paid for this trip around $5,000 to $6,000 for this hotel, this villa that they stayed in right off the beach. And then they had the nerve to fight. But what was so disturbing was the fact that she was not fighting back. So she was just being basically attacked. Originally, they call it a fight, but it ended up being an attack. Oh, we'll see one of the girls. But the night before, they were all playing drinking games, seemed like they were having fun. And it's just the weird thing that she even said, no, she didn't want to fight. They pulled her out of bed, or the one girl, Dejanay, pulled her out of bed, or didn't want to pull her out of bed, but basically told her to get up and she wanted to fight. And she didn't want to. And a lot of people thought maybe she was too intoxicated to, or maybe she already had like an injury, so she, to the neck, so she didn't fight back. But the disturbing part was that everybody was filming. People, you can see the other people. Somebody was even possibly on FaceTime. And then her friend, Khalil, of 10 years, he's a guy who's her best friend, was filming and not jumping in and helping her. So that was just very disturbing. And then there was just conflicting information. They were saying that she basically had a poisoning of alcohol, and that was the cause of her death, until the parents actually paid for an autopsy to be done in Mexico. And they saw that her spine was injured, as well as she had internal decapitation. Basically, the top of her spine broke, which causes suffocation and whatnot. So there's a viral video going around of the attack, and you can see the people filming. But then on top of that, there was a second video that was not released that the Mexican government had, and it showed more of this situation. So it doesn't mean that none of the other people who didn't respond or didn't help her the way that we believe that she should have been helped, to call the police or intervene in the fight. Supposedly one person did intervene in the fight, but we don't know who or when this happened. But nevertheless, everybody wanted there to be justice. And the girl who was attacking her, who was attacking Shanquella, was basically an associate of her. And her name is Dejanay Jackson. Okay. And nothing really happened until this video went viral. And it was like social media pushed this to come out, to bring justice for her. So once the video came out, because the death certificate that the doctor who was on the scene, there's some conflicting information, but the death certificate that the doctor actually wrote was, now we're finding out it's fabricated because it doesn't match up the timing of death from the autopsy to when the doctor said she died. Autopsy says she died 15 minutes after receiving the injuries, which was around 3:15 p.m. And then the doctor said she died sometime after 5:30 p.m. before 6 p.m. Mexico time, the area that they're in, Cabo. So that's another reason why Mexico actually opened this case back up, because it was done. The Cabo, they call them the Cabo Six, the 6 people that were against this girl or who were there in that villa. Even after the police arrived at the home when she died and paramedics came, like, they were free to leave. And a lot of people are saying they even used the girl's money. She bought them plane tickets there. They even used her money to fly back. So whatever deals they had going on, it doesn't give them the right to do none of that. So there was a lot of speculation, and this guy Gerardo, who just released some more information. He's the lead investigator, reporter, a pretty popular one, who has been following this case and was able to get like the death certificate and things like that to the public. And also we wanted to see like the police report, and he was able to talk about the case because he knows about people. And he's even saying that there is a possibility that police came and took money that she had somehow. So it has been, or seems pretty corrupt. There was a murder, and then the Americans are let go. Then they really didn't do anything. They trusted the word of the doctor. But now that the family, maybe it's not a popular thing to get an autopsy because the doctor probably thought she was in the clear for whatever reasons. Maybe she was paid off by the Cabo Six. Maybe there was an issue with the villas that they stayed in, and the villas didn't want there to be a record of a murder happening on their property. So who knows? Maybe they wanted to clear their name as well. People got paid off. Nobody knows. But the main reason why they pushed this expedition over to be expedited over to Mexico. That means everything will happen in Mexico. It's very rare for America to send somebody over there. And it'd have to be a big crime, and have to be a lot of proof that they think that this person will be like charged, and not only charged, but actually found guilty. Because in America, we are proven innocent until proven guilty. We are innocent until proven guilty. Over there, you're proven guilty until you're able to prove that you're innocent. Completely different setup of law. The laws are different. When you go over there, you're lucky to even get a judge. Often times over there in Mexico, a judge may not even show up. They sometimes delegate their cases and the judgment to a secretary. So, people are believing that's obviously because this is an American situation, that whoever got this arrest warrant, because I said finally there was an arrest warrant because this is going so popular. Everybody's talking about it. Mexico is like, what the hell is happening? We have to do something about this because now there is an autopsy. So there was an arrest warrant issued, and many people are like, who was it? Which one of the friends? Because there were 3 girls that were on the trip, because they did say a woman got an arrest warrant. No, actually they did. Well, I'm not sure if they actually said a woman. Let me take that back. They just said it was issued, and we assumed for sure that it was Dejanay because she's the one that on the video that we actually have seen. So it's been a crazy ride, and it's just stuff, crazy, more information back and forth, but I don't want to bore you with all those details. I can talk about the other details on a different podcast episode, but nevertheless, let me see where it is. But the guy Gerardo, And I'm getting this from the lead attorney. He's a YouTuber. He's a attorney. And he's been following this case, and he's been having interviews with this guy. But I went on his Twitter, and it says, breaking news, Dejanay Jackson has been arrested. And then not only has she been arrested, it says Dejanay Jackson was placed in federal custody waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico. And this is the Metropoli. This is the page from this Gerardo dude. He wrote this article. I believe so. Let's see who wrote this before I read what it says. Well, I believe he wrote it because this is his website. Because usually somewhere you can see where it is. But anyways, I'm going to read it. You can go. Oh, yeah, it says journalist. It says don't miss the latest news. Okay, yeah, journalist. It says Mexican investigative journalist Gerardo Zuniga. Okay, so here it says San Jose de Cabo, Baja California. Okay, it says during the night of November 28th, which would have been last night, Dejanay Jackson was arrested by Interpol agents after a control judge issued an arrest warrant against her for the crime of femicide of Shanquellarobinson. The murder from October 29th in Cabo Villas complex in this tourist destination. Okay, so it's Interpol agents. Hold on, I gotta look that up. Interpol agents. I'm assuming, I just want to know exactly what that is before the International Crime Police Organization. So they basically went to wherever she was at. Seemed like she was hiding. Not saying she was running, but we couldn't find anything of where she may be. But they went to her and they arrested her. And now she's in federal custody. It says Dejanay Jackson was placed in federal custody waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico, where she will be formally accused of the femicide of the 25-year-old businesswoman. And we talked about that, femicide. And femicide is a crime towards women, a hate crime, and not a homicide, but it's like basically towards a woman. And in Mexico, for a femicide, you can get more time than an actual murder. And then here, what it says, a femicide is a hate crime, which is broadly defined as the intentional killing of women or girls because they are female. But the definitions vary depending on cultural context. So it's basically the intentional killing of a woman. And the reason why, and it's basically neglect. It's more so than just a homicide, because neglect meaning you just left the body there, you didn't report, there's just a lot of other things, and they left her there, they lied, and there's just a lot of things. So they upgrade the charge, or they upgrade the the charges to a femicide, which could be at least 20 to 60 years versus homicide, which is like 12 to 60 or something years. Let's see. But it doesn't mean that the others won't get arrested either. Now, this is him. I'm not saying 100% that this happened, but this is according to this Gerardo dude who has been providing a lot of inside information around the United States. Okay, so back to here. It says Dejanay Jackson was placed in federal custody waiting for her to begin her extradition process to Mexico, where she will be formally accused of the femicide of the 25-year-old businesswoman. The extradition process took between 1 and 2 weeks. So it said the extradition process has taken this whole process about 1 to 2 weeks, resulting from the procedure that the Attorney General's Office of Justice carried out in the Attorney General's office to the Republic, and this in turn to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico. The Attorney General's Office of the state of Baja California managed to prove that the woman who appears in the video attacking Shanquellarobinson is precisely Dejanay Jackson, as Metropolimex reported at that time. They were the ones who reported that previously. And it's saying that Metropolimex is preparing a special report that will be published in full in the next few hours. So there will be another, a clearer update on the information, and you can check that out. But this is the news that a lot of people have been waiting for. This is definitely not the last news. And this is a big thing. I don't even know if or when the last time, or if there even a black woman, African-American woman, was extradited to Mexico. Mexico is completely different. That you don't even get a trial by jury when you commit a crime. It's the judge that decides. And oftentimes you don't even get to go in front of the judge. You write a letter, and witnesses write a letter. Very few times does a judge even call in witnesses. They see the facts, they see the proof, what they need to see, and they make a decision. And like I said, many times there's not even a judge there. And this is from doing different research on the internet. And like I said, the reason why on top of that, a lot of people are being investigated, the villas are being investigated, then the concierge, because there was a concierge. When you stayed at this 5-bedroom villa, you get food included, and then there's a chef that comes, you get drinks and things like that. But there were other people that were around, like maids. They have to get investigated. The doctor that came, who said that when she arrived, Shanquella, in her report that she wrote up, that Shanquella had decent vital signs, but then it started declining. Basically, 3 hours later, that's when she died, according to this doctor. So this doctor is going to be investigated. We don't know, will this doctor be charged? It's a possibility. This doctor is saying that she said to the friends that were there, this Shanquella needs to go to the hospital. I advise you guys to send her to the hospital. And she's saying that the friends declined. Shanquella never declined. The friends declined. That's what the doctor said. So nobody knows, is the doctor covering something? What does she have to, hide? And then there are the police that this Gerardo guy is saying. He's coming on a lot of social media, I was going to say YouTubers, but social media, which is YouTube, but different accounts, and saying that he has connections with people in Mexico and the police department. They're saying that the police may have stolen money. Maybe the police was bribed when they got there. So the police didn't get there at 5:35, but according to the autopsy, and there's another autopsy. Apparently there's a medical autopsy, and then there's a forensic autopsy. But there's another autopsy being done, and the results aren't released yet. So her body was flown back to America, and she had a proper burial. And but the autopsy was done before her body left Mexico. So it's a sad story. It's just disturbing to many people, and a lot of people are following this because, like I said, she just seemed like she was just a girl trying to be successful, a young girl entrepreneur, had her business, and then here come these haters. It seems like they are haters. And this guy who's supposed to be your best friend is freaking watching this fight and doesn't step in. And people just find this so mind-boggling. And the fact that she didn't fight back, and that the people who were recording were saying, why don't you fight back? Why don't you fight back? And the fact that she financed this. Her credit card was there. She financed this trip. Whether she was a people pleaser or not. It gives nobody the right to treat her this way. And everybody's like, why would they do this? Did they set her up? Like, did they do this? They did do that. There's so many rumors out there. What we do know is that Shanquella posted on Instagram, she posted stories. You know, you have those stories you post and within 24 hours they go away. But somebody screen recorded them or was able to get those stories. And in the stories, she filmed different things, right? And she filmed them at night drinking, playing drinking games. You can see the chef there. And then there was supposedly 2 chefs, right? I saw them, like there was one who was wearing a black shirt and a white shirt. And I always wondered who the guy in the hat is. Like, is that, there's a guy there standing while they're eating, right? He's standing behind Dejanay. It looks like he has a name tag on. He's wearing like a turquoise shirt. I know she was wearing a dress that was like green, but he was wearing like a turquoise shirt and was wearing like one of those cowboy hats. It looked like the man was a little bit overweight. I was wondering, who is that? Like, does he have involvement? Like, who the heck is that? I don't know. It could be the concierge. You know, it was their first night there. He could have stopped by to see if they needed anything. But Dejanay, she posted a game that they played. Some people call it a drinking game or whatnot, but it's just a game, and it has like dares and things like that you can do. But the one that she posted was a little black card, and it said something in the lines of send hate mail to whoever didn't participate, basically, in this game, like who didn't participate. And she tagged somebody. And this is what I just recently heard that today, and I realized by watching this some YouTube that the person that she tagged was not Allison. A lot of people were thinking it's Allison, but supposedly the other girl that didn't show up was tagged in there. There was a 4th person, like they were 3 best friends, Winter, Allison, Elise, or I'm saying Allison, but Elise or Alice. No, I really don't know how to say her name, but I believe it's Alice. Elise. So it was Winter, Elise, and Dejanay were friends, and there was one more girl that didn't come. So that night, a lot of people were thinking that she tagged Elise, but it seemed like she tagged that other girl who has a similar name for Instagram. And people are wondering, like, did this happen because she sent hate mail to somebody? Because there's this video that came out, supposedly Winter coming on Instagram Live. Some people are saying it wasn't Winter. Some people are saying it is Winter. It doesn't matter, but they're saying that this girl, Winter, came on live and basically said that she witnessed the fight, and that the girl said something stupid, that Shanquella said something stupid, and because of that, Dejanay wanted to fight her. And then Winter basically said that she's not going to jump in because what they do, her friends, if somebody wants to fight, they fight it out if they have an issue, and nobody jumps in. But that was questionable. Some people, you'll find the YouTube community, some people believe that it was her, Dejanay, saying that. And people are like, okay, if it was her, you never planned on jumping in the first place. But according to the Geraldo guys, the police has a video, the Mexican police has a video of, and supposedly, I believe the internal attorney general too in the United States, that they have this video of somebody jumping in and trying to help her, or stopping the fight. They came from the back room yelling, hey, stop, but we haven't seen that. And supposedly there's more to the video where somebody did somebody grabbed the neck of Shanquella and then basically body slammed her, and after that she didn't get up anymore on that second video that's not released. After that she didn't move. And then there's other things. There's this other friend that arrived late, and people are trying to see, like, was he there? Did he have something to do with it? Like, he even furnished, like, his ticket. He was like, oh, I didn't, like, he missed his flight, or there was an issue with his flight, so he couldn't make it in Friday night, so he wasn't a part of the games, but he did arrive on the day that she died. So people are wondering, okay, was she alive, when you got there? Did you watch in this craziness too? Did you egg these people on? He's saying that he didn't arrive till after 3:26, right before the doctor came. He's saying nurse, but most likely that's a doctor. It's just a lot of things happening in the story. And a lot of people were wondering, was like, okay, was he the one on FaceTime? Was Winter FaceTiming him? They figured out it was Winter because of the nails that she was wearing. Was Winter filming this and FaceTiming this dude? Or was she filming the friend? So it's just a lot of stuff. And if this is the first time you're hearing about this, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, then you should probably, I don't have any earlier information about this case. And what you can do is do your research about it. But the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight mainly was the fact that it seems like the first person has been arrested. And once you get arrested, before you get extradited, you have to go in front of an American judge, and he or she will make the decision if there is enough information. If he says yes, the person goes back to Mexico. In those conditions, like Mexican prison is completely different than the American. I know I talked about the legal system is different, but prison, and then like the money that they allocate to taking care of the prisoners is completely different than in the United States, So this is crazy because a lot of people can put themselves in this situation as far as the girl. That's how I felt. Like, I'm like, what the hell happened there? Like, me, I'm a girl, and I know that oftentimes I like to please people and I want to be with people, but have somebody beat me up and have like a men watching on top of that, not just girls, and not fucking jumping in. Like, you can tell that her friend Khalil, he didn't give a damn about her for her to say that. Because the night before, there's a video surfacing. He filmed her talking about, hey, like she was knocked out, passed out, seemed like she was drunk. I don't know. Passed out. This is the night before she died. After, we think it's after the drinking games, where she's laying in a hammock and he's like, oh, we have a dead body. We have our first dead body. And he says it in this like weird, creepy way. So it's like him joking wasn't really a joke. Some people are saying that he said dead body because, meaning like, saying kind of like, hey, we have our first drunk person. But it showed that, he spoke it into existence in a way, and it showed that he didn't give a damn because when she was being fought, he did not step in. And she clearly didn't want to fight. And this other girl's ragdolling her around the room naked. Oh, that was another thing. She was naked. According to the family, she sleeps naked. And this, according to the sun, the way that the sun hits the room, this was early morning. She was naked, and this other girl is beating on her, fighting her. For what? Like, what did she do? Yeah, Winters allegedly said that Shanquella did something stupid. But what the hell could be so stupid that she did? I don't know. So obviously it's jealousy stems from hate, or it's very closely connected to hate. They hated her from the beginning because this should have never happened. For her to have internal capitation. If this fight happened in the morning and like they did so much stuff to her, because maybe the final blow, whatever they did at the end, according to the autopsy, she died 15 minutes later. So they started in the morning, and then who knows what the hell happened in between. And somehow this one guy, one of the friends, he arrives there, and he's like, he feels like he was set up. He walked into this shit, and okay, there's a possibility. Doesn't Nazir, that's his name. He went on Instagram Live, and people are speculating what they think about him. Like, is he telling the truth? I mean, he showed his plane tickets that he got into the country at 12:30. He said he arrived at the house at 3:26, and at that point, he's saying Shanquella was already unresponsive. But everybody's saying the autopsy said that she was most likely dead already. So people are like, did he not know that she was dead? Did he not think to call 911 while he was there? Like, was he so freaked? Like, what happened? Or was he so out of it? Like, the doctor came and, the doctors didn't do CPR till 15 rounds of CPR, the doctor, until 3 hours later. But according to the autopsy, she was dead at 3-something, which is very odd. And they're saying that if really she did have 15 rounds of CPR, they say after the third round of CPR is usually when the rib cage breaks, because if you're doing it the right way, or I mean, you can break it too if you're doing it the wrong way, but I'm saying, like, in general, if you do it in the right way, like how deep you have to go to press down your rib cage. Like, just pressing down lightly is not going to do anything. You have to press down. You literally basically have to break somebody's rib cage to get to the heart and massage it back to life. But the autopsy didn't report that. Hopefully this second autopsy will state, was there breakage in the ribs? Because if not, then that means the doctor was lying about that too. And this dude, he says he comes in to the house. He arrived a day late because his plane didn't fly the day before. So he missed the party, missed the drinking, he missed the games. He arrives the next day, and he's saying when he arrives, she was alive, but she was unresponsive. But a lot of people are saying, like, do you know what death is? Like, what do you mean? So people are trying to figure out, is he, like, lying about the time? We know he landed around 12:30. Yes, he has to go through customs, and then he had to get into the car, and then there was traffic to the villas, So he's saying that he had nothing to do with it. The people blindsided him, but he was there, and as soon as he got there, he was trying to comfort her. And he's saying that she had throw up on her mouth, and they told her she had alcohol poisoning. So he said he wanted to make her feel better. He played, like, some music for her. He rubbed her head. Like, she was either dead or at the verge of dying, because usually when you have such injury, the injury that she has, when paramedics come, they usually stabilize the neck. Sorry, give me a sec. Oh, okay, sorry, I got a call. But they usually stabilize the neck, and sometimes the person can survive with those type of injuries. But that's sensitive, like, the area is so sensitive, and she had no support, and then here he comes rubbing her head, like, who knows? And then the doctor supposedly tried to give her an IV, but if she already died by the time the doctor got there, based on what the autopsy said, then she was basically trying to put an IV in a dead body. No wonder it didn't work. Nazir saying that, and the doctor said too, she tried to give an IV, but it was not successful. They wanted to give an IV of fluids because they said she was dehydrated. But people are trying to figure out, when did this rigor mortis starts happening when when the body becomes stiff after death, and it can happen 30 minutes till hours later. So everybody's trying to figure out what's happening with that situation, and nobody knows. And then supposedly this is the last thing I'm going to say, but supposedly on this Nazir's guy's TikTok, like I say, this is supposedly, he posted something and then quickly removed it. He posted something, a TikTok, and then removed it. And he said that Shanquella basically died over drama about a guy that Shanquella texted her girl's best friend's ex or something like that. And then because of that, a fight broke up. I don't know. It's ridiculous. She should have never died, and it's just sickening to me. I mean, it's interesting, the whole Mexican thing, her getting extradited over there. I don't know, if they will have cameras, in the room when they're doing the judgment. And are they going to get the other people who filmed, who was on FaceTime? Why did the person on FaceTime not do anything? Why, if the people were filming, why didn't they do anything? And another weird, disturbing thing was that the girl Elise, her sister died on October 28th at 1 a.m. by her boyfriend murdered her and shot her in a motel. This girl still, regardless of her sister dying at 1 o'clock in the morning, she decided to still go to Cabo with her friends. So was this premeditated? She had to be there? Or so her friends were, people are saying, they wanted to say, hey, stay encouraged, come get your mind off of things, the death of your sister, come to Cabo. And it's kind of okay, that people can see that happening days or weeks after somebody's death, but not the day of your sister getting murdered that you had a relationship with, and you still go to Cabo. Obviously she wasn't right in the mind. I mean, this is not the girl who is seen in the fight. This was another girl. So people are wondering, was she the girl that came in from the back and intervened? But a lot of people are saying, and even in my mind, it's something is not right with you to go on a trip and your sister just got murdered. So, so there was a lot of tension. And also there was a video that Shanquella, she posted of walking through the house looking for her friends. This is the night, the night when they were all drinking and stuff. And you can see her going from room to room, and she can't find none of them. But she finally finds them, and they're all in one room together. And it just seemed really odd, because when she walked in, they looked at her, she was in good spirits. She was in a great mood. So some people are were they plotting her death or not? I mean, maybe not. If she said something stupid or did end up texting some girl's ex-boyfriend, maybe they weren't aware of that. But it shows that there was a disconnect. They were gathered together in a room without her. So she was an outsider. I mean, we all know she wasn't really close friends. She went to college with them. She went to school with them. But she was best friends with Khalil. Not best friends with Malik. She was not best friends with Malik. That was the other guy that was there. So on that night, the day that she died, or that night before she died, it was 5 other people plus her. And then the next day, that one friend arrived late who is saying that he had nothing to do with it. But then people are saying, like, should they be charged even because they were watching a crime? Or if they weren't watching it because they falsified information, they didn't tell the truth, like, they didn't cooperate, but there was no investigation to cooperate. Did they lie to authorities? And then all of this is in Mexico. Like, can they even be charged here in America? Like, if Mexico didn't take an interest on this, there's a chance that America would be like, well, yeah, you murdered somebody in Mexico, but it wasn't on U.S. soil, so we're not going to do anything. That's a possibility, too. That could have happened, or that can happen with the other. If Mexico doesn't decide to get the rest of the people over and charge them, or even investigate, did these people use her credit card after she died to book their own tickets home and book that next night? Because the next night that they slept at the hotel, they got a different hotel. They didn't sleep there because she died and there was too much going on. So they went to another hotel closer to the airport, and then they flew out. Did they use her money? And then the government, the reason why they're stepping in and want to investigate is because they're like, why did the people, the municipal person, I forgot what he's called, but they allowed them to leave? Why were they paid off too? It's just a big thing, and it makes me like weary of traveling over to Mexico, honestly, after this. It makes me weary about hanging out with people in general. I mean, I like hanging out with people, but I'm thank God that I was privy and know about this information now moving forward in life. I'm not thankful for what happened to her, but I'm thankful that my eyes are opened up, and now I'm going to be more careful just going around. Like me, I'm I think people, like, I can tell people sometimes don't like me, but because I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, I want to be nice to them, and I want people to like me. So I could have been gullible in that situation. I mean, I would not pay $5,000 and buy people tickets that aren't even my friends. Like, no, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were supposed to pay her back. Who knows? But I don't know. She could be a people pleaser. So I'm going to leave it at that. I want to research, and I hope, let me see if anything new came while I'm talking to you guys really quick. About this, I want to see on his page. Just give me a second. Did he post anything new? He said he wanted to give this information as soon as possible, but he didn't. I want to see. I have to refresh this. Hold on. If he posted anything new. Is this the same one? Let me go back to this guy's Twitter. And there's a few people that I've been following, and I want to give a shout out to them as well. That I'll say a few people. There are a few people, but the main two that I watch. Well, the lead attorney, he's good. He speaks Spanish. His name is the lead attorney. That's literally his YouTube name. He's been covering this case. Hold on. How do I click on this? Okay. Where? Okay, he put it right up here. Wow, okay. I just want to see. Okay, it has a new one. No, new one has not. A new article has not been written yet. But I will definitely be looking out for this. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to hear more information about this case or different things. I know this is a podcast, but this is Creative Abnormality, And I also have my podcast. The YouTube is new, but I have the podcast on Apple. All the other episodes, the 30-something episodes, are on Apple Podcasts under Creative Abnormality, and also on Spotify and Google. So, but it's not your normal podcast. So we talk about different things. We go from quantum physics to healing to doing challenges to talking about cases. Because my hobby, honestly, if you didn't know, I like looking for people missing cases and things like that. Like, I don't like what happens. I like to help, and I have my own investigation skills. So you guys may hear more stuff about different cases that I find myself drawn to. But yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe. And thank you for coming to my channel. Peace, love, and light.